Go. So, welcome everyone to. I haven't done a podcast in a couple weeks, but I'm joined by Angry MGTOW, aka MGTOW United. So, go ahead and say hi if you want.
Hey, Angry MGTOW here.
There you go. Yeah, the Angry MGTOW thing going. So, tell people about yourself who aren't familiar with your channel or who've never heard of you before because they're newer to the community.
Okay, so my name is Angry MGTOW, and I used to run a channel called MGTOW United. It was pretty popular in the MGTOW community. Some people liked me, a lot of people hated me. If you Google MGTOW United if you search for MGTOW United or Angry MGTOW in YouTube, you'll find some videos about me, probably most of them negative. Again, there were a lot of haters, and I amassed a lot of fans. I was one of the more radical MGTOW in the community, and I often said the things that others probably would not say. But I think that was one of the reasons why people actually liked me and actually listened to what I had to say. I left the community almost exactly a year ago, and I decided to go my own way and focus on myself. There were a lot of people who were upset about that because I was such a large name in the community, and I even had Sandman, had some choice words for me, but ultimately I believe that it was the best thing for me at the time, and I went my own way, and I spent about a year really learning what MGTOW really is. And after I took some time away, I was able to come to the conclusion that being a MGTOW, you really have to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet. No one can do it for you. And even if men work together, ultimately, we're still lone wolves. We still have to learn how to take care of ourselves. So those were some things that I was only able to learn after I left the MGTOW community, and I was able to spend some time by myself and really just figuring out what it is that I wanted to do and what it really meant to be MGTOW.
Okay, so, do you want to go into the details of what happened, or do you just want to kind of leave it ambiguous?
Okay, so the details of you mean why I left MGTOW, or what?
No, I'm actually curious, because I know you deleted your channel. I didn't know, because I knew you had some strikes on your channel. Was your channel taken down by Google?
My channel was not taken down. I only had one strike on my channel. I had problems with YouTube. Actually, it was a very funny story. YouTube was constantly striking my channel. I was having a lot of problems with YouTube, and I literally had to go to YouTube actually stopped responding to my messages, and I started emailing Google directly, and I was able to get at least one strike removed through Google. Yeah, shockingly enough. But it just became kind of ridiculous after a while because there were so many people that were just attacking my channel over nonsense. I could have stuck around. It wasn't because of the strike why I left. It was literally that it was just so much nonsense. I was tired of some of the bullshit happening in MGTOW. There were a lot of these women popping up in MGTOW, and I was there was a lot of fights happening, and I just was tired, and I wanted to leave for a while. I thought about leaving the channel up. I had spoken to someone about taking over the channel. People don't really know this, but MGTOW United was a community channel. I ran the channel, but there were a lot of contributions from other people in the community on the channel. That was the original purpose of creating MGTOW United. I was never the sole creator of MGTOW United. I was one of the founding members, but there was actually a group of us that started MGTOW United. And when I left, they changed the community name, and they did some other things with it. But I decided that I would take down the channel because everything on there was so much content by me that I figured it would be better if I ever came back to just start over. You actually called me out a few times in some videos saying that, I should update the videos to reflect changes in my thoughts using the annotations, because there were some really radical videos that I had where I said a few things that I'm not going to apologize for, but they could be misinterpreted, or they could cause some MGTOW or members who are just coming to the community to think I don't want to be a part of MGTOW. And I thought that it was best to start over clean, fresh, because if if they saw those videos, even though I had a lot of great content, they were still gonna, there were still a lot of people who were gonna say, you know what, I'm not gonna watch any of these videos at all because because this guy is crazy. It's I don't want to compare myself to like a white supremacist or any of these groups, but I'll put it like this. If you ever listen to like groups like white supremacist or Black Lives, I really don't like Black Lives Matters, but
I don't think anybody likes Black Lives Matter.
But there's always in hate groups.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, I gotta interrupt you. I have to notice somebody. Localith, I noticed you. Diogenes Doggy, I remember you from chat. There you go. So there. Continue. Sorry, there's some people in the comments section that wanted me to notice them.
Okay, you noticed. You got noticed. Good for you, bro.
I know. Yeah. For what that's worth.
So what ended up happening is that damn it, dude, I lost my thought process. Thank you for that, Loki.
Okay. So no, I mean, you're talking about, you wanted to start fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I didn't want people seeing the content and thinking, they could not move past some of the more radical things I said. Because do you remember mentioning any of that stuff to me?
Dude, I mean, I say a lot of things to a lot of people. I mean, I do remember, like, when Teal Deer did a video about one of your videos, you explained yourself in, like, a follow-up video to your corrected video. Now, if the mistake is really bad, then you probably should just take it down.
That's what you said. And the thing is, like, I just couldn't. I had so many videos that were. I had over 400 videos. So it would have been too much work and going through each and every single video. I just figured that I needed time away, and because of that, that's why the channel ended up going down. But there was a whole plan. There was this whole plan that we had set up where we were going to prank the community and claim that I had died. Yeah, we almost did this. We were gonna prank the community and claim that I died because I was really very sick. I'm feeling better. So hopefully I'm feeling better. But I was really very, very sick. I'm still not too great, but I'm doing better. And we're gonna prank the community and say I died, and then there was gonna be a new host that took over. That was one thing we were kicking around.
Well, don't mess around with that kind of stuff.
I know. It never happened. We didn't go through with it, but yeah. So that was that, and then so that's why I closed down the channel because there was just too much crap, dude. I mean,
well, we could talk about that, but someone just asked they don't know who you are. So this is Angry MGTOW. He also used to run the channel MGTOW United back in the day. You may or may not remember him, depending on how new you are to the community. But you may recognize the name Angry MGTOW. So that's who my co-host is today. Oh, yeah, sorry. My Twitch, I didn't change it. I just kind of started streaming. So I'm actually not playing Overwatch. I'm playing an indie game called Haven, which is kind of like a... I don't know. It's a game about insanity, which always fascinate me. But it's kind of like in an old JRPG style. I don't know. But no, it's not Overwatch. Sorry.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about what I learned since after I left MGTOW, my experiences.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about your Warriors journey.
My 4 years. Okay. So after I left MGTOW, I didn't really keep in touch with too many people. However, I did keep in touch with one person that some of you may know of. Her name was Feminism. You know who Feminism is, right?
No. A girl?
Yeah, so her name was Feminism, and she was actually pretty popular on YouTube also.
No, a girl popular on YouTube?
Girl popular.
What black magic is this?
Haha. But, so anyway, I kept in touch with Feminism, and at first I left MGTOW, and I never planned on going back to the plantation, but I thought, okay, so maybe I might start trying to have sex now, because I had become a MGTOW monk.
Yeah.
So I started talking.
Give the whole sex a try.
Let's give the whole sex a try. So I started talking. Yeah. So I started talking to these women, dude, and
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, baby, I'm
Whoa.
being honest. I was like so sex deprived, sex starved
What?
when I went back. I was like, I would just like go up to any girl and say, listen, you are so fucking gorgeous, and
Mm.
and then that's when they would respond with all the bullshit, 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 and
Well,
I,
you got to treat them like shit, bro.
dude,
You got to say, bitch, my dick is dry. Moisturize it with your tongue.
dude, let me tell you something. I ended up becoming a total dickhead, but at the end of the day, the women I found out there, at least Western women, are so deficient and so defective and they lack that feminine essence. Like it's hard to explain it. A lot of us men who are born in the West, we have we've never experienced true feminine charm. I'm not talking about attraction to a woman who puts on a thong and a short dress. That's not feminine. There's a certain quality, a very feminine quality that
You're
Western
talking about
women.
like being supportive and all that stuff.
No, I'm not talking about that at all, dude. Not even
Okay.
talking about that. There's a certain. It's for example, you know what true masculinity is, dude. You know when you're around a group like a man who he exudes what it means to be a man. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, okay. Well, there's two definitions of masculinity. There's the societal definition, like in a gynocentric society, masculinity is defined as sacrifice. The man who lays down his life for his country or for his family, that's a real man. A man who works his balls friggin' dry, who just kills himself working 3 jobs so that his wife can sit at home and eat bonbons and watch daytime TV. That's a real man. That's bullshit gynocentrism. That's not masculinity. Masculinity is a man being in charge, being competent, not putting up with people's shit. But if you ask, it depend, so you can't just throw around words like masculinity and femininity because realistically, there's a societal definition of masculinity, and then there's being a man, doing the things that women can't do. In essence, is what masculinity is. And what can women not do? They can't be strong. They can't lead. They're not intelligent. So if you're those things, you're a man.
Okay, so here's the thing. The qualities that you just described, when you're in the presence of another man that exudes those qualities, you can feel it. You can
Yep.
feel it. And that's what I'm talking about. Just like you can feel that, that quality of like, wow, this guy defines what a man should look like, behave like, think. This defines a man. That's what I'm. There
Right?
are, there are, there. Once upon a time was a unique feminine mystique,
No,
and
there was no feminine. I made a video. You haven't been watching my videos. I totally debunked the feminine mystique. What women are children.
women. No, 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 no,
Their
no, no.
mystique
Yeah,
is their children. And
women. Women are children, dude. But listen
yeah.
to me.
Okay, I'm listening.
Women are children. They are absolutely children, but don't misunderstand that
Okay.
there is a specific nature of it's a type of submission. It's a type of it's hard to completely describe it because we don't have those qualities in American women, and I've tasted a little bit of it before.
Hmm.
Anyway, when I went back out there into society, I just looked at these women and they were so horrible, dude. Like they were horrible, horrible, horrible. Like you just don't even want to talk to them. They behave more aggressive than most of the men I know. They are not they're not women. They don't act like what you would expect from a
Well,
woman.
okay. We need to take a step back, and we need to define like what we're talking about because I
Okay.
think people are going to get confused. So, explain what you're talking about without using words for feminine or woman. Like, actually break down what you're talking about.
Okay. So, for example, I don't even want to use the word classical.
No,
There's
just
but we're gonna basically put
break
it
it
like
down.
this.
Just
In human nature, the
okay.
traits that you defined as masculinity were historically the kinds of traits that were needed for male survival.
Right. So
And
no, don't use the term masculinity or femininity or man or woman. Just describe the thing in the most clinical way you can.
okay,
Take away all the genderisms. Just describe the thing.
I still have to be able to say I'm talking about a man. I'm talking about a
Okay.
woman.
Well, no, you're talking about survival. Who is in charge of survival in the human race? Clearly, the man. So you don't need. You know what I'm talking about? You can talk about the masculine, the feminine by talking about the elements of masculinity
Okay.
and feminine without talking about the actual word. Because when you just say the word, it becomes vague.
Okay. I understand. Okay. So, for example, we're talking about nature,
Right.
and we have survival, and men are survivalist, and then we have replication. Women, their purpose was to replicate, to bring
Right.
forth replication.
They're basically incubators for creating more men.
It's something. I'm not gonna go too far off topic, but I wonder if you guys actually know that in most societies there are actually more boys than little girls. Usually, that's what happens in most Western societies. However, because of the way males are treated, usually because of sudden infant death, especially in the UK, the countries such as the UK and Australia end up with an abundance of women by the time that they reach adulthood. So that's just something you guys could look into, but that's an interesting fact that highlights just how men and women are treated differently just from the moment they're born. But
Okay.
getting back to the very basics of what we're talking about,
Right. Let's get back to the basics.
women don't women, their job is to replicate. Men,
Right.
our job is to survive. And
Mm-hmm.
the problem is that we don't I don't you don't feel women who want to replicate anymore. That's the very basis of how I'm going to put it. They don't want to replicate. And when I went back into society, I found myself unable to really want them, desire them, because they didn't have the traits that I was looking for, and ultimately found myself saying, "Fuck this! I don't even want to fuck them. I
Right.
would rather stay home, jerk off, play video games, go to sleep, eat a burrito. Fuck, life is good." That
I thought you were gonna say "fuck your burrito," and then I would say, "Whoa, whoa! I hope you don't eat it afterwards."
dude, honestly,
Honestly,
compared
you'd fuck a burrito,
compared to some of the cesspool chicks out there, you gotta
right?
be fucking kidding me.
Right. I mean, especially with some cheese and beans. I mean, as long as it's not too hot. I mean, you don't want to like have it too hot because that cheese doesn't feel good on your foreskin. And let me tell you.
You're here fucking making jokes about this, when in reality, you could stick your dick in crazy and it can burn there too.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. As bad as melted cheese may burn, chlamydia probably hurts a lot more.
So yeah, I
Okay.
went out there, talked to a bunch of different chicks, didn't
Mhm.
like them, realized that Western women are all garbage. It's a phenomenon that's happening all around the world, and I found myself not even wanting to date them. And more, I realized that I am truly a man going my own way. I'm truly a man focused on my own happiness, but I realized more so that every man, as I said earlier at the beginning of this conversation, has to focus on themselves. So shit, bro, you have a lot of people viewing now.
Don't get intimidated. It's okay. We're in the trust tree.
Trust tree. I'm like, dude, I don't know how you have this many people on.
I don't
What
know.
the fuck?
You know what? People ask me like, oh, well, like I don't know. I have no idea why they come. I think it's the puppet. I think people dig the puppet.
So yeah, I was like, now I'm getting all shy.
For what? No, seriously. No,
All right,
the secret to life is not giving a shit. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, after all of that, I realized that ultimately you have to learn how to be okay on your own. And
Exactly.
it took me a year to really learn how to do that. And I'll tell you something. I mean, I remember a lot of you guys knew my story. Like, I've been homeless. I have no family at all. I mean, my family literally turned their backs on me. My mother was a psychopath, and she's one of the reasons why I've had so many hardships in my life. And it's interesting because Through it all, it's, how do I put it? When you have something going on, everyone's there to help. But when you have nothing, everyone turns their back on you, and it doesn't matter if it's friends or family. To
Oh,
be honest
sure.
with to
Well,
be honest, more often than not, family is worse than friends.
well, have you
People will.
ever have you? It's like when you apply for a bank loan. Like when you don't need the money, when you got plenty of money in the bank, when you got like several thousand, $100,000 in the bank, banks are throwing money at you. Please borrow my money. Please take this credit card. Would you like a line of credit? Would you like a second mortgage? Because you have money. But when you don't have money, when you need money, when you go to the bank with your pockets turned out because you just got laid off and you don't know you're going to pay your bills, the bank's not interested in loaning you money because now you're a credit risk. So the same thing with, I mean, families in general. People tend to kind of, just like people mystify women, female nature, mothers. No, we're all monkeys. We're all monkeys. Everything is just chemicals in your brain and survival and reproductive instincts. Families are there to kind of like as a support structure. But when somebody's a liability to the family, they're going to get cut off. Family is only there to a point. You're basically there to support each other, and people will help you in your family because they expect you to help them if they're ever in a similar situation. But if it's clear that you're just in really a bad straits and you need help, but you're probably not going to be able to help them, most people will just cut you off. Even like your own parents and siblings will cut you off.
My stepfather, I spoke to him maybe almost 2 years ago, and it's amazing the first thing he said to me. He called me up, and because I had been avoiding all of them, and my stepfather, he is a chaplain, works in a hospital, and he helps. He basically takes care of people who are dying. So he gives them their like last rites and helps prepare them to die.
Yeah.
And he's a son of a bitch. He calls me up, and his first words to me are, "I don't have a lot of money." I'm like, "What? Wait a minute. We haven't spoken in like 3 or 4 years, and I don't know if I've ever asked you for money." But he knew that I had been homeless for a while, and he knew that things had been pretty shitty in my life, and he called me up to remind me that I need to take care of my mother. Dude, I was like
Yeah.
I was in shock. I was in absolute shock. And that's just the perfect example of how family works. And you talk about family being collectively helping you, but to be honest, dude, it varies, man. It
Oh no, it does. No,
varies.
what I'm saying is the institution of family, the institution of a tribe or any community is there for the individual members to benefit. But when one person becomes a liability to the community, they get cut off. The whole blood is thicker than water is pretty bullshit.
Man, it is such bullshit. It is just such bullshit. I've been through it. I've lived through it, and it's just bullshit. When you hit rock bottom, like I've been at rock bottom. I'm still pulling myself out of that. I'm not doing terrible right now, but it's like I've been at rock bottom. I mean, like sleeping on the pavement with rats and cockroaches. I have slept with cockroaches crawling all around me. I mean, I've had to shit in places you don't want to know about. I've done my time. I've suffered,
Okay.
and
Well, it's
and
not a pissing contest. It's okay.
no, 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 no. I know, but the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, I've had my share of ups and downs, and I want other men to know that there are many of us who've been through it. So it's not like I can't relate. And when when you hit rock bottom, and you look around and and you look at the people who you think would be there to help you, you'd be surprised. I mean, it's not surprising that of course women don't want to deal with you because you're not, when you hit rock bottom. But when you look at your family and how they treat you, it's, like you said, the collective benefit. If
Hmm.
you When you hit that point where you don't have any value, no matter how much you've helped someone in the past, you'd be shocked how they can turn their backs on you. And that's why I find MGTOW, the true nature of MGTOW, to be so important. Learning how to learning how to focus specifically on yourself and know that you have to be able to walk individually. There's a big problem that was happening in MGTOW when I was a part of MGTOW, and this whole notion that if you call yourself a MGTOW, you're a part of the community. If you're part of the community, then we have certain rules and regulations. This is how some things are done. MGTOW was just a philosophy. There was the basic philosophy, and this is where me and Teal'c got into a fight once. For example, I argued with Teal'c. I said a white supremacist can be a MGTOW, and he tried to argue that they could not be because it would make no sense within the ideology. Turd flinging monkey. Can a white supremacist be a MGTOW?
Sure. Being anti-marriage and anti-gynocentrism, that's a very broad brush. I mean, it's like people, like I'm a libertarian, and people ask me, because I'm very anti-welfare state, anti-socialist, and people are like, I don't get how MGTOW can be socialist. And my response to that is, well, I mean, marriage isn't better if you're a socialist. Marriage sucks whether you're socialist or capitalist or communist or whatever. And gynocentrism sucks for men regardless of your political or economic ideology. So I'm not surprised that, there are MGTOW who come in all shapes and sizes.
Exactly, and that's the biggest problem that I began to run into with people in MGTOW. Literally, if you call yourself a MGTOW, then you need to start listening to what I say. These additional points within the ideology. Or for example, who you associate yourself with. There's a guy in the community named the Straight Shooter. You know the Straight Shooter, right?
Yeah, I know.
Straight Shooter, he's a married man.
Right.
But the thing is, there are a lot of people who said the Straight Shooter doesn't belong talking to MGTOW. And it's interesting how close-minded some of these so-called MGTOWs can be, because as a man going your own way, it doesn't mean you don't decide who I listen to. You don't decide who I talk to. You don't decide how I live by the philosophy, and you don't decide what rules come along with the philosophy. It's a very basic philosophy. You don't get married, you're not having children, you're focusing on yourself and your own happiness. How the hell what does it have to do with my own beliefs,
No, I'll tell you my personal view is if I agree with most of what you have to say, I'll support you, even if I disagree with other things you have to say. So, for example, I actually subscribe to some anti-feminist channels that I don't agree with everything that they say. I'm subscribed to Stefan Molyneux, even though I don't agree with everything he has to say. I'm subscribed to Bill Whittle. I don't agree with everything he has to say. I'm subscribed to Sexy MGTOW, even though I don't agree with his racism. So I support people. Like, if I agree with most of what you have to say, I'll support you. I don't care. I don't. If we had to agree with 100% on everything to associate with each other, we would all be in our own little groups of one, because no two people are going to agree on everything. But then beyond that, the MGTOW community is very broad. It's just anti-marriage, anti-gynocentrism. But you're free to kind of make your case for other stuff. I talk about libertarianism and being anti-welfare and social Darwinism, but that's not MGTOW. You don't have to believe in any of that to be a MGTOW, and I don't tell people they have to. It's just I'm presenting the case, and and the thing is the MGTOW community is full of open-minded men who have ideas. We're not followers. So what better place to throw out your ideas and get real feedback other than the MGTOW community?
And that's the thing. That's what MGTOW is supposed to be in essence. It's supposed to be a group of open-minded individuals. Basically, you have your own beliefs and live and let live. But
I don't give a shit.
But again, we were having. I don't know if you remember just how crazy things were a year ago. Things have changed. Things that a lot of people have left, since I left. There are quite a few people left, and I thought MGTOW was going to die, because things were going pretty crazy last year when I left. There were feminists, there were women coming into the community, and it literally felt like MGTOW was done for because of just how crazy things had gotten.
Okay, so let me explain a little bit. So the MRAs, you notice how the men's rights movement is basically withering on the vine, and they've basically diluted themselves, and they've just become kind of a voice in the anti-feminist movement. I don't even think a voice for men is even relevant anymore. Paul Elam started this new channel called An Ear for Men, and he, I don't know. And then you see like the MGTOW acronym kind of just permeating most of the manosphere, the red pill. You know, it's become more mainstream, but everyone's trying to kind of like, I don't want to use the word co-opt, but they're trying to kind of get more numbers for their thing. So you got the people like, I don't agree with this group, so I want to get, like, pull some people over to my side. So that's where all this stuff about other ideologies comes from. But I don't give a shit. I never gave a shit. I've always just, spoken my own heart and my own beliefs. And when people disagree with me, I defend myself, or I agree with them and admit I was wrong. But I never was like, I'm going to leave MGTOW, bro. Because, I mean, before I even knew what MGTOW was, I had my personal philosophy. And when I learned what MGTOW was, it just matched what I was already living. So it was an acronym that applied to me. So I just applied it to myself. Like, oh, okay, this is what I am, and now it has a name. So why would I walk away from the label unless I'm going to walk away from who I was before? Because before I didn't have a label. I was just doing my thing. But if it has a word, why not apply it to yourself? It just, like, I'm a social Darwinist. It's what I believe. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of baggage with that term, but I don't give a shit. If I'm comfortable calling myself a social Darwinist, despite all the baggage in that term, why would I walk away from MGTOW because of some bullshit on YouTube with, people fighting about this and that?
No, I agree entirely.
Yeah, it just really, honestly, seriously, stop giving a shit. That is the secret to happiness. When, like, I did a couple videos about the infighting in the manosphere, and it never went anywhere. I would talk about respecting people's individual self-actualization. Nobody cared. It never stopped the drama. In fact, the drama got worse, when people, it's fucking stupid. And the only way to like deal with the drama is to ignore it, because the people trying to start the drama, they're trolls. They are like MGTOW trolls trolling the MGTOW community to try to like get people into their own little movement, whether it's to build viewership for their own channel so they could try to like become YouTube famous, or whether they're trying to get people to support whatever. Everyone wants like MGTOW to be like this catch-all that they can use to feed into their own little groups, instead of just accepting what it is and just being open-minded. Like, if you're a socialist, if you disagree with 90% of, other than MGTOW stuff, if you disagree with my economic philosophies, my political philosophies, you disagree with all that stuff, but my videos about female nature and hypergamy and gynocentrism save your life from ruining it by making horrible decisions, and you become a MGTOW and join the community through my videos, then you are my brother. And I don't give a shit that we disagree with everything else. Now, if you're a socialist and everything, if you come from my shit, we're going to have a problem. But until you come from my shit, we're cool.
Honestly, I think that you put it in a very firm and clear way. I think that there are still a few small things. For example, when a guy, I'm not going to call any names, brings a woman to MGTOW and says, okay, now she's going to be a part of the group and you need to welcome her.
No. Now, I will say I did have a woman on my channel.
Different.
What's her, Babyface Zelda or something like that. She's the one who bought me Overwatch, by the way. I kind of put her on as an experiment because she was like flirting with me really hard, and she said she was like, oh, she was all into MGTOW and she liked my videos, and I'm like, there's no fucking way this woman understands my videos. But just to kind of like do a real-time experiment, I did a stream with her. And then I occasionally get like other anti-feminist women talking to me over, my YouTube channel. But I would never be like, oh yeah, you're part of the MGTOW community. Why don't you start a channel and make videos, and won't that be just swell?
And that's exactly what I mean. For example, I had people like I mentioned earlier. I had End Feminism on. I interviewed a lesbian. I know that lesbian interview was crazy. I did a lot.
I'm a lesbian. I'm a transgendered lesbian.
Wow, that's a lot.
I'm a transgendered lesbian. I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body.
Trapped in a monkey's body?
Right. No, but I'm a female chimpanzee. that likes other female chimpanzees, but I'm trapped in this male body. So like my clitoris hangs out way too low, and my vagina's all inverted like a ball sack. But just because I have a giant, huge clitoris that hangs down so low, it doesn't make me less of a woman.
You know, Turd, you have changed a little bit in the. I don't between a little and a lot in the last year, because I used to watch your stuff, but you've changed. You give even more of a fuck now than you have in the past. I mean, you really don't give a shit these days.
Well, the thing is, before, like, I don't know, like, I was only making one video a week, and I was doing a lot more research, and I was trying to be too much like Stardust, doing a lot of research, presenting the academic case. Like if you look at my older videos, there's like tons and tons of footnotes. And then, over time, I've just been kind of like tapering back and being like, I'd rather do stuff that's fun and talk about things than do all this research and stuff like that. And there are plenty of channels that have stepped up, like CS MGTOW and guys like them that will do that research, or Coltane, that they've become the next Stardust. Like I don't need to do that. So I just I don't know, I just kind of fell into it. I just kind of become more comfortable in my own skin, and yeah, I just gave less and less of a shit. But people seem to enjoy it. So as long as people enjoy it, I guess here I am.
Well, honestly, I mean, I think people enjoy it, but I also think it makes it easier for people to connect with you. I mean, when you have people who are presenting these very rationalized arguments that are based on all these research, they often may ignore or not touch on some of the things that a lot of people are thinking. And I think that was one of the things that some people liked about my videos originally, is that I'm not saying that I didn't put a lot of thought into it, but I basically talked what I wanted to talk about. And that's something that a lot of men often sometimes still fear doing. They don't just talk. You don't have to bring these over-rationalized arguments. In fact, sometimes I think it's better to not over-rationalize things, because that's how we end up getting in trouble when we overthink things, because you start to become a bit dishonest with yourself. I think that when you present arguments based on your thoughts, you'll be amazed how many people can relate to those, and how many people it'll actually resonate with. And yes, Vaz, this is Angry MGTOW. Vaz is here. Shout out to Vaz.
There you go.
Dude, is this really normal for you to do? You always get this many views?
I don't even care. How many views? What are we talking about?
You're at 50. You're at 53 views right now.
That's 53 people. That's like nobody. That's like a restaurant.
For Twitch, you gotta be kidding me, dude. But okay. But yeah.
I don't know. See the thing. I just don't care. So, is 53 a lot? I don't know. Maybe. Sure. Okay. So can you? Well, yeah. Let me monitor the chat a little bit. So.
I'm looking at the chat.
We're gonna do the chat. See what's going on in the old chat. Let's see. I'm not buying No Man's Sky. It got pretty bad reviews, and I tried survival games. They bore the shit out of me. I'm much more into action games. Like I've been addicted to Evolve now that it's gone free to play. I've already gotten like level 40 on like 6 different hunters, and so it's good times. Good times. Okay, let's see. Yeah, love songs are terrible. There was a song I heard on the radio. It was these guys playing acoustic guitars, and I may be butchering the lyrics, but the lyrics go something about like, my mother told me, or my mother said, when I get old, buy me a house of gold, and when your father turns to stone, take care of me. And he's like singing a song about he's going to take care of his mom and buy her a house of gold and support her for no reason. And that's the entire song, is him just like worshiping his mom, and he even calls her the queen of everything. And it's like, that's the entire song. Like, what a bitch. Like, what about your own dreams? Like, if you're gonna have a castle made of gold, don't give it to your mom, who obviously worked your father to death, and then immediately turns to you. And it's almost like, you notice how wives and girlfriends, they always get shit from the mother-in-law from the husband's side. But you never see like the mother-in-law, like the woman's mother always loves the husband, but it's the mother-in-law of the mother of the husband that hates the wife. And it's because the mother was looking to the son to take care of her when she was old. That was her backup plan in case her husband died. But then, he got married, and now he has this woman. Now she's going to take all of his money for herself. So that's like the whole rivalry between mothers-in-laws and wives, is basically both of them are trying to feed off the same man. It's like hypergamy battle, but of course the younger woman's going to get the money, not the mom. But of course if the guy's like a little bitch and never gets married because he's ugly or something, then of course the mom's got him all to herself. Like, yeah, buy me a house of gold and take care of me. And he's like, yeah, you're the queen of everything. Like, what a bitch. So yeah, that's my thoughts on love songs. A little bit of a divergent there. Let's see. Can't really follow the other stuff. A lot of people saying hi to me. Hello. Yeah, sorry, I don't stream a lot because I found I don't enjoy just streaming by myself. So if I don't have a guest, it gets really boring. So I just don't feel like doing it. But when I have a guest, then it's fun. So there you go.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I think that it's like a springboard. For example, you kind of have that conversation going back and forth, so you're able to challenge the other person's idea or add to them.
Well, and the reason why I do Twitch is because it's not affiliated with Google. So, like, if my channel ever gets shut down by Google, everything gets shut down. Whereas if Google shuts down my YouTube channel, I'll still have Twitch. So I still have a platform, even if my Google-related social media accounts all get shut down. So now the reason why I have to play games is because Twitch is a game streaming service. So I couldn't just publish my YouTube videos on Twitch. It doesn't work that way. So this is kind of like, it's a way for me to have a platform outside of Google. Hopefully Google doesn't buy Twitch, or all this will be for nothing.
I don't think they will, because there's actually they have a gaming YouTube thing now. I don't know if you know about that.
Well, I'm sure they probably put a bid for buying Twitch, and Twitch probably said no. But who knows? I mean, healthy competition is always good.
Yeah. The thing is, if at the end of the day, if one platform goes down, another platform will pop up. There will always be competition, and there's always opportunities to do something different and create something of your own. So there's always those options. But it's definitely a good idea to diversify as much as you can.
Yeah, it's fun. Now, so have you been watching my channel lately, or?
I have. I looked at a few of your videos here and there, so I'm not up to date on a lot of your stuff, but I have seen.
What are your thoughts on my sex toy reviews? I'm just curious.
So here's the funny thing, dude. Okay. I saw this. I saw the title of the video like a few days ago, a day or two ago, whenever you put it up, and I don't know. I was like, this guy is doing sex. It said sponsored, and I was like, shit, this guy is doing sponsored sex toy reviews now? Okay.
Right?
So I didn't watch it. I couldn't watch it.
They're funny. I make them humorous. They're more of a joke than anything. Like they're half serious.
Dude, the problem is that other half that's serious.
Well, they're meant to be humorous, and they're also meant to actually make money. Because here's the thing, like, I don't like e-begging. I don't want to be like, oh, give me money on Patreon, support me, buy my t-shirts. Like, I have a t-shirt shop, but I honestly don't even really take a commission on anything. Like, if you look at my prices compared to other YouTube channels that have t-shirt shops, like, my prices are dirt cheap, because I don't really take a commission, because I don't care. I just think it would be cool if I was walking around and I saw someone wearing a Turd Flinging Monkey shirt. That would, like, make my day. That's when you know. That's when you know you've made it, when like you see random people on the street wearing your t-shirts.
I mean, that's a good thing and a bad thing, because when someone starts wearing your t-shirt and it's like a few people wearing it, then that means that people are noticing you. And when people start noticing you, that's when certain people start saying, who is this guy? I saw, dude, someone came after you on theeconomist.com.
Yeah, yeah, it was weird. Wasn't that crazy? It's because I did a response video to that Prager University thing, and that just blew up. And then I was being mentioned in newspapers. So it's like, yeah.
Dude, what is wrong with you? Pissing off these manginas, dude. You gotta be careful.
Well, it's weird because it's like the Prager people are like right wing. So I guess I don't know. It's an interesting. People don't know what to make of it. Well, I can't. Vass is trying to. I can't talk, Vass. If I pick up, Vass is trying to call me on Skype. If I pick up the call, I'll drop my guest. So unfortunately, Vass, I can't. We would have to organize a group call ahead of time, which would. Now we're midstream. We can't just change course.
Dude, Turd, I'll let you talk in the comments for a moment. I need to take a piss. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. No, that's a Angry MGTOW or MGTOW United. He used to have a MGTOW channel. It was fairly popular. It was one of the bigger ones. Oh shoot, I minimized my game. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, he was roasted by Teal Deer, and he ended up getting, I think, a strike on his channel because he was calling women cockroaches. So, he's one of those. But yeah, so then he ended up shutting down his channel and disappearing for a while. Well, I'm gonna die. I should probably take this game more seriously. I'm not really into RPGs mostly. But this is an interesting game. It's only like $5 on Steam. Alright. Okay, so MGTOW's asked, what's my view on an actual submissive woman? Well, an actual submissive woman is fine. The problem is, you don't know whether it's an act or not. So if you, let's say you find a woman who's all about the patriarchy and she's all about being submissive and everything, and you're like, yes, this is awesome, it's exactly what I want. So then you end up, spending enough time with her to qualify for common law marriage, or maybe you have a kid with her, or maybe you up and propose and actually get married. Well, then you can discover to your horror that it was all an act, and she was basically telling you what you wanted to hear because you were a catch. And I've experienced that myself, where I see a girl, she seems like she's the one, or she seems different, and then you find out later it was all an act, and she basically probed you to find out what you wanted, and then basically just told you what you wanted to hear. So you got to be careful about these so-called submissive women. You don't know whether it's an act or not, and they won't let you. You won't be able to know until it's too late.
I just caught some of what you said. I remember I had a video once that someone actually sent in the topic, and they basically broke down all the different kinds of women, and they were talking about Asian women, and
Right.
They mentioned that a lot of Asian women, they exude that so-called submissive charm, and they smile, but they pointed out that Asian women, you shouldn't trust them, because even though you think that they are very submissive and they offer those qualities, they will still fuck you over. There's a guy in the community named AM Serious, and if you ever want to find out about how hard you can get fucked,
I thought it was I am serious, isn't it? I am serious.
I always mispronounce his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am whatever. But if you ever want to find out how hard you can get fucked by a so-called submissive woman, just listen to I Am for a bit, and you can find out very easily how that works.
Yep. All right. Someone made the comment that I haven't uploaded a MGTOW video in a while, and all my recent videos are about taxes and stuff. Well, that's true. I'm like my videos about, my news videos. I try to find news stories and stuff like that have a MGTOW angle. The problem is, the feminists have been pretty quiet lately, and it is an election year, and all the news is about politics. So it's just hard for me to come up with subjects. I am thinking about doing a series, kind of like how to not give a shit, because I think that's a very important trait to master. But I mean, that's not necessarily MGTOW related. I've been doing this channel for over a year. I've covered a lot of stuff. I could remake old videos, or I don't want to cover the same topic over and over again in different videos. I want to kind of like branch out. So, when it comes to stuff about female nature, hypergamy, gynocentrism, I'd rather just refer people to my older videos rather than just continually make videos about those subjects. Until I completely run out of things to say, then maybe I'll just do that. I don't know.
Something that's really off chart for me right now is when I first started out in MGTOW, I was getting a shitload of subscribers. Every day I had the first few. I had something like 80 subscribers or more. when I first started in MGTOW, I had something like 1,000 subscribers within like the first week.
Okay.
But now it's like my subscriber count. I've been around for a week. I have like 44 subscribers. I don't know what's going on. And the crazy thing is that I'm still seeing a lot of comments popping up on the videos. I don't know what's happening this time around. Maybe it's more competition or what.
Well, yeah, there is more competition. That's true. So, and also, it's not the sexy new thing anymore. So a lot of people may have just kind of floated into MGTOW because it was the new thing. Now it's kind of a little bit more established. It's lost its new kid on the block edge. So maybe that has something to do with it. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, who knows? But things. I will say that I'm glad the community does feel a little bit more chill now than it was a year ago. Do you think that's true at all?
I don't know. Like, you'd have to look. I think different channels, because you look at if a channel is just a plain vanilla MGTOW channel, I don't think it'll go anywhere. You kind of have to tell your story, and then the people who empathize with your story will like your channel. So more voices is always better, because someone may like my channel, but I may not speak to them the way you can. They may empathize more with what you have to say, even though we're both more or less saying the same message. So you have just use different examples. So I'm a libertarian, I'm right wing, and all that stuff. So certain people are going to get turned off by me. They're not like, oh, I don't like you because you don't agree with my politics. So if there's a left wing MGTOW channel that can say the same message but not offend them in that way, then that's good, because that saves their life, and that's more important than trying to win brownie point politics or whatnot. Now, it doesn't make me I'm not going to change my message. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and dilute it to try to pander to people who are going to get turned off by what I think, because that's who I am. But I am thankful that there are channels that have different views that can help men who would be otherwise turned off by what I have to say. But there is a lot of competition, so I think the important thing is to go beyond the basics and to tell your story, whatever that story is.
It's funny. I think that maybe you're a little right, because it's funny how it works for me. I left MGTOW for that year, and I came back, and it was kind of just like, you never forget how to ride a bicycle. Right. And I just came in. I started the channel. And have you been to the new channel?
No. You want to post it in the chat? Because I actually don't know what is it. Just Angry MGTOW?
I'll post it in the chat. Hold on. It's funny if you type it into YouTube, it's not even showing up in YouTube yet. But guys, I'm gonna just post it in the chat.
There you go. Yeah, what is Big Tow? Big Tow?
Big Tow.
Big Tow? Is that like black women going their own way?
Oh, you know what, dude? I'll tell you what I think.
Don't post it in the Skype chat. It in the.
No, I need you to post it
in the Twitch chat.
I need you to post it for me.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. All right.
There we go.
There you go.
All right,
black
guys.
Women go. So what is the deal with black women going their own way? This is.
All right. So here's the funny thing about black women going their own way.
All right. I can't wait.
about a year ago, there was this thing that happened. It was called. It was a new group that it was a spin-off of MGTOW for black men. It was something like I.
Oh, you're talking about Ibmore?
Yeah, there we go.
Ibmore, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, and after Ibmore happened, I don't know if you heard that they the black women made their own version of it.
Of course.
Yeah.
I want to have that meme with M. Bison going, "Of course," because that's exactly what you would expect.
And I'm thinking this is just like another follow up to that same bullshit right along the lines.
Well, yeah, everybody well, men always want to. It's a dominance instinct thing. People want to have their own sandbox. They don't want to. They'd rather be a chief with a small tribe than an Indian in a large tribe. You know, they'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. You know, like whatever saying you want. So when people are part of a group, if they don't see themselves with enough power, they'll try to break off into their own group so they can be in charge of their own group. And then, you know, repeat it a couple times, and you have like all these different groups. And then whatever thing you were hoping to accomplish through your, you know, solidarity goes straight to shit.
No, definitely. Well, you know, and that's another thing. A good point, dude. I learned something very, very vital when I was on my own, and I learned that it is vital as MGTOW that we learn how to lead. Every MGTOW must know how to lead, and I'll explain the reason why it's vital that every MGTOW must know how to lead. Because by knowing how to lead, I'm not talking about simply learning how to lead others. You have to learn how to lead your own life. It is vital. It is vital, and that's if you learn how to lead, suddenly you will become extremely attractive to both women and men. And
Well,
I think, go
well,
ahead.
that's some PUA shit. I mean, you shouldn't try to build up your
I'm not.
confidence and
I'm not saying
whatever.
that's what you. I'm not saying that's why you should do it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Okay.
how funny. I'm just saying how funny
Oh
it is,
yeah. No. Yeah.
how it
Oh no. You're
works.
right. No, you're right. Like
But
when
go ahead.
when you're like a pussy worshipping simp, women don't want anything to do with you, and then as soon as you like don't have time for their bullshit anymore.
Yep.
Oh, did I break the game? Oh, there we go. Sorry. Yeah. So, but yeah, I see this a lot. Like some people in my comment section, they come to my channel for the wrong reasons. Like maybe they watch my video "She'll Never Love You" or something like that, and they're looking for advice for like to try to find the right woman, or try to find a woman who's not like that, or try to better themselves so they can get the right woman. It's like, dude, you're totally missing the point. You're totally missing the point. It's not about trying to find the right woman. You should improve your life. You should get healthy. If you're overweight, you should lose weight. If you're poor, you should get some money. But not because you're trying to attract the one. Not because you're trying to attract some gold-digging whore to try to part you from your money. It's so it improves your life, and it's because it's what you want to do.
You know something I find very interesting, and I'm going to stay on topic, but as
Okay.
you just said something, you said some gold digging whore that tries to part you with your money. This is one of the reasons why women ultimately will fail, because at the end of the day, it's all about women trying to take a man's resources, and the government does it to men, and and as the reason why I put it like this is because men are the only ones who have any real value. It's the honest truth. Women don't have any value beyond reproductive value, which they're gradually losing. Gradually losing. Women have no real value in society. They don't. It's a fact.
Well, no,
And
I mean, if you're talking about like, do they contribute to the system? Do they, you know, they like, as women don't pay taxes, they receive far more in benefits than they pay in taxes as a group, so they're not contributing to society or humanity. They're basically just they're there. I mean, the only reason why women are valued is because the male sex drive is so strong that men value sex so highly that it gives women just value for nothing. By having vaginas, they have value because because men want to have sex with them. If the male sex drive wasn't so strong, we'd be extinct because men wouldn't want anything to do with women.
did you see? Oh well, you didn't see my channel yet, but there's a video that there's a video where Denmark wants to force men to have sex, and basically a travel agency made a video, and they have a website. It's called Do It for
Oh,
Mom.
oh, that's old news. That's from like a year ago or something like that. No, it wasn't
Okay.
force. It wasn't forcing men to have sex. It was basically bribing you to have sex. Basically, bribing you
Oh,
to have children.
oh no 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 no, turd! If you watch the video, they literally showed one guy who was jerking off in his bedroom, and his mom forces him to go. She basically forcibly puts him on an airplane and sends him there to go have sex with these wonderful women. Okay, and it's encouraging mothers to have their sons do this. Do it for mom.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay.
so I mean, at the end of the day, in countries like Denmark, there are men who are not having sex anymore. In Germany, a lot of men are not having sex anymore. In Japan, it's a fact. It's a statistical fact that men are not having sex in Japan. I mean, they literally have art classes where men go and they look at naked women for the first time. And the purpose of these classes are so that hopefully it will jumpstart these men into having sex.
Well, I mean, the problem isn't that like sex doesn't feel good. The problem is society. If you choose to be sexually active as a man, you are really taking a huge risk because I mean, you have to trust the woman won't accuse you of rape the next day because she's late for work or something like that. Because there've been cases where women have just accused a man of rape for the smallest of reasons, like she was late for class, like like a college girl. She's late for class next morning. Oh, I better cry rape because I don't want to get in trouble for being late for class. I'll just ruin this guy's life. Or she has a boyfriend and she's cheating on him with some guy she just met at a party. Oh, I was raped because I don't want my boyfriend to be mad at me for cheating on him. So you got to worry about that. Then you got to worry about being sperm jacked. Woman's like her baby biological clock is going off, and she needs someone to put a baby in her. So if you don't come in her, she's gonna like dig your condom out of the trash, or she's gonna lie to you and tell you she's on the pill. And then after you come in her, oh, she's pregnant, and now you got to take care of me. And it's just these women, they don't have any goals in life. They have no 10-year plan. Like, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna get a career. No, they have no plan. Their job, I'm gonna get pregnant, and I'm gonna find a guy with a job, and I'm gonna get him to make me pregnant, and then I'm gonna trap him and hopefully get him to marry me, and then I'm set for life. That's their plan for life. There's actually there's a stand-up comedian on Netflix. I can't remember the name of the comedian. She was like an Asian woman, and the name of her special was um, something baby. Anyway, but what was it? I can't remember what it was. Anyway, I'm sorry, but her joke was she met her husband at a wedding and found out he graduated from Harvard Business School, and she's like, and I was like, ooh, I gotta trap his ass. I gotta trap his ass. Like, that was her thought, and only after she found out that he had a good job and was making money, then she decided that she had to trap him, and that's how she met her husband. Now, of course, she's a stand-up comedian, and she was exaggerating for comedic effect, but there's a lot of truth in that. That's how women select their mate, is they look for a man with resources, and they just trap him. They're just like, oh, I'm on the pill. You can't get me pregnant. Oops, one of them slipped through. I guess you got to marry me now. And they were never on the pill.
I want to tell you something about how women think. Women are deceitful, low creatures. And back when I was trying to become a doctor, I used to talk to a lot of doctors, and this was some advice that a female doctor gave me. She told me to go and find a woman who has money and get her to believe in me. Get her to believe in me that I'll go to medical school and get lots of money, have her pay my way, and then at the end I can get rid of her.
Mm.
This is the deceitful nature of women.
Well, I've actually, I was in the comment sections. One of my older videos, there was a woman who wandered onto my channel, and it was my "She'll Never Love You Too." Aren't men just as bad? Where I basically go to show that men, like, because what women's defense are when you show them their hypergamous nature, is they project that onto men. They're like, well, men are the same way. Yeah, women are hypergamous. Women do drop men for other men. They do use men for money, but men are just as bad. That's the way they justify it in their own head. And then when you point out that men aren't just as bad, that men actually do selflessly love as opposed to women, then they accuse you of being stupid. Like, oh, that's not true. That's fairy tale stuff. That's not how adults love. So in their head, they're mature. Their selfish, narcissistic version of love is mature love. And the way men love, that selfless, sacrificial kind of partnership love, that's just fairy tale bullshit, and they deserve to be exploited because they're not mature like they are.
Dude, you said it. You said it perfectly. Like, if you guys heard what I just said, shit, this is a doctor telling me how, to think this way. And I'm like, and that's the irony, because men by default don't think like this. Most men out there are not thinking, okay, I'm going to go and find a woman with money and exploit her. Like, how many guys think like that? But that's like the default thought for a woman. I'm going to find a lot of men with a man with a lot of money, and then take that money from him.
Well,
and they feel fine
not
about
always.
that.
There's one caveat to that, because a lot of people do point out, like, oh, I got my girlfriend and I'm poor, and my girlfriend loves to have sex with me, and she doesn't ask for money, and she's not interested in marriage or kids, blah blah. And I'm always like, how old are you? And they're always in their early 20s, and their girlfriends are in their early 20s, and they're in college, and they're sport fucking. They're not looking for anything serious. They are legitimately having sex with you because they find you attractive. They're not looking for a baby's daddy. They're not looking for a safe spot to land. They're just sport fucking. But when they get to be like late 20s, early 30s, and the college starts to go and they realize they have to go into the real world and get a real job, the hypergamy instinct kicks in. They're like, I don't want to get a real job. I just want to fuck people. Oh, shit. I got to get a real job. I actually got to get out of college and be an adult. Well, now I need to trap a man with a job. So it's not like, it's very conscious.
They want a blue pill man.
Yeah, and they still want, like, they only want a blue pill man long enough to divorce him and take his money so they can go back to being cougars and fuck guys they find physically attractive. So nobody wins. No man wins. Even the blue pill man that's like, oh, I got me a woman. For like a couple years until she's has you on the hook long enough to be able to get alimony for life, and then she's going to divorce you, or she's just going to have affairs on you and cuck you, and then you won the lottery. You got this beautiful wife who's fucking other dudes behind your back, and if you say anything about it, she'll just divorce you and take all your money. Then she'll just fuck other guys in your own house while you're living out of your car. You won. Congratulations. How did you do it? Tell me your secret.
That's all these women do. I mean, I used to live in a military town, and I don't know if you know anything about the military, but
I was in the military for 8 years.
Wow, bro. So okay, so this is going to you'll just nod to everything I say.
Right.
So you know what military wives are like.
Yeah, they're the biggest whores.
Oh
biggest
my
whores.
God.
Well,
if you live
I did a video like last year. It was like my proto TFM news video. Where I break down statistics. It's actually, the thing is, the divorce rate in the military isn't any higher than the general population. The problem is the marriage rate is so much higher because the military dangles BAH in front of your face to try to get you to get married. So if you're a low-ranking enlisted guy, you're going to marry a woman you barely know because it triples your pay. And of course, they cheat on you because women in general cheat on you, and you barely know these bitches. And because the guy has stable income and health benefits, these women are just, oh yeah, put a ring on it. They fucking don't care. And then the worst is these guys who are in these shitty marriages, the military 100% sides with the woman. If the woman is like beating her man up with a frying pan and the MPs show up, they'll arrest the man, even though it's clear that the woman is the aggressor. And if the MPs say anything, they'll get in trouble. And then the worst is, like, let's say you were in your 20s. You were just some E1 know-nothing. You married some woman. You were married for a couple years. She cheated on you. You divorced her. Then you do 20 years in the military. Whatever. Your ex-wife from 20 years ago gets half your retirement.
Whoa. There you go, guys. There you go.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
Dude,
fucking bullshit.
I have known so many women who were married to these military guys, dude. I hate every single one of them. They are so horrible, dude. It's like a rite of passage to fuck other men. Like once you become a
Oh,
bit,
oh, especially when they're on deployment. Like there were actually women, and they would like snitch on other women, like the quote unquote good girls. So there would be these wives who, when their husband left for deployment, they would post on their Facebook that they were single and ready to mingle. You know, like while their husband was gone in Iraq or something like that. And they'd just be like, there'd be guys who would show up at their house 5 minutes after, you know, the plane left. Like she had guys lined up to fuck in this guy's house while he was out getting shot at in Iraq. And then if he dies, she gets like hundreds of thousands of dollars in life insurance, and then she's a widow, and she gets all the benefits and everything like that. And it's so fucked up.
you know, I look at marriage for what it is now, and I realize that I don't think that men and women were ever truly intended to be in monogamous relationships. I honestly don't. Because if you look at the animal kingdom, there's not much monogamy in the animal kingdom. A lot of times women will go through multiple sets of partners in the animal kingdom.
No, someone sent me an article about that. I'm actually going to do a TFM news video about it, probably this weekend. But basically, it's a scientist who said there's scientific proof, basically for hypergamy, but he doesn't know what hypergamy is. So it's a scientist who's discovering hypergamy, and it's almost adorable, because he's not familiar with the red pill or MGTOW or anything. He's just approaching it from a purely like evolutionary psychology, behavioral ecology perspective, but he's coming to the exact same conclusions that a bunch of jackasses on YouTube have known for years. So I find that just hilarious.
No, I'll tell you something interesting, Turd.
Okay, tell me
And
something interesting.
this is something that a lot of people don't realize yet. And I love statistics, and I've been looking at this for years, and no one notices it yet. The U.S. population is actually shrinking. Do you know that? Do you actually know this?
I know that we're not reproducing at replacement levels. That's pretty much the case in most Western countries.
But here's the interesting thing: it does. We're not producing at replacement levels, but it's being masked by the constant flux of immigration.
Yeah, I did a video on that exact topic.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why people are like, you don't make MGTOW videos anymore because you make politics videos. But yeah, I've actually covered that exact topic. So
And what's funny about this, what's really interesting is that there was a few weeks ago a study came out, and this is not the first study. It was actually the second study, and one of the original authors from the first study actually worked on this study as well, and they found that millennials are having less sex than the two previous generations, being Generation X and the baby boomers. We're having significantly less sex, and then when it comes to people in around 18 through 24, they're having even less sex than older millennials. And what's interesting about this is that it's just another example of how the population is beginning. Yeah, someone just said it. Dad dude Nico just said it. The West is dying, but the government is trying to cover it up using false immigration. But
Yeah.
the irony is this, dude.
Okay,
As the white male population begins to fall in the United States, and I'm going to say the white male population because white men are dying off at alarming rates. That's another big factor.
But you know what? Who created democracy? Who created egalitarianism? So, you make your bed, sleep in it, Whitey. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, we can all joke about that, and then we're all, dude, it's easy to joke about it, but you say that, but who's it was a group of evil people, the Rockefellers and a bunch of other people.
They didn't invent egalitarianism. No, the problem is equality. It's not Jews, it's not the rich, it's not the 1%, it's not the media, it's equality. it's our values. It's our Western values. If you look at Western values, equality, egalitarianism, these are bedrock Western values. It's baked in to our own society, this bullshit that's causing it to collapse. So it's not one race, it's our culture. White people could wake up tomorrow and decide that they're not down with this egalitarianism bullshit anymore, and they could fix things tomorrow, but they're not going to.
Well, you need to correct that term. Don't say white people, white men.
Well, yeah, white men.
Yeah, white men are the only ones who actually have any value in this scenario. White women don't create anything.
Well, they yeah. I mean, again, they're just incubators for men. But, you know, whatevs.
The point I'm trying to make is, dude, in a few years, it's going to start to become more evident that the population is dwindling. Because, like I said, right now it's the immigration that's fucking with the numbers, with all with Mexicans coming into the country, and it's skewing the results. But once scientists and researchers start to notice that the population is falling, they're going to start putting even more blame and even more pressure on men. Trust me.
Oh, no, there's going to be a bachelor tax.
Correct that, dude. They're going to be bachelor taxes.
Sure, no, I mean, they'll do all that stuff. But it does, like, you can't save it. Like, it's done. It's dead, Jim. You really can't save the system.
John Doe 2214. Do you see how much interracial porn is out there? Black people will always exist. Oh my
You know
God.
what? White women love the D. I'm just gonna say. Like, you notice, like, the Kardashians? They're all like, all their boyfriends are black. They know what's up.
Dude, Kardashians, they're like Armenian. So they're like a weird, they're not truly, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not exactly white. For example, they don't possess Aryan traits. There's no like blonde hair and blue eyes in their ancestry gene pool. So I'm guessing that maybe that has something to do with it. They're like Middle Eastern.
I guess.
I don't know, dude.
I think you're overthinking it.
I'm trying to reach you a
well,
little bit.
it's you see, you gotta let it go. Look, here's the thing. When white men are dead, all the white women will be assimilated into the other races. So in a way, the white genes will live on through the white women that will become the new war brides.
Here's the funny thing about white and black, dude, and this is some funny stuff. I didn't understand genealogy for a long time.
Yes.
And then I started studying genealogy.
As long as it's playful racism, I don't mind.
The funny thing about genealogy is this, dude, that genealogy, just when we look at DNA and look at DNA markers, we're only looking at where specific groups or specific traits are congregated in certain regions of the world. But ultimately, dude, we are all reflections of each other. So, I mean, the traits that we have, most of those come from a lot of environmental differences. But ultimately,
yeah, I agree with you.
So the point I'm trying to make is this, dude. If you killed all white people on Earth, dude,
right,
and then repopulated all these countries with blacks, with blacks, just blacks, and then left them there for maybe 1,000,000 years or so. I don't even say 1,000,000 years, because leave them there for a couple 100,000 years, dude. You'd be surprised to discover over that time period that if they don't kill each other, that there would be a bunch of different races yet again.
No, I don't know if I made that point. I agree with you, and I'm pretty sure I made that point in a video, but I may not have. Yeah, the races evolved through environmental adaptations. And so if white supremacists got their wish, if they found a genie and they wished all the brown people to disappear, and all there were white people, and the white people reproduced and spread out across the world, in a few centuries, you would see different races develop again. Because people who lived along the equator, where it was sunny all the time, would get darker skin. And then through evolution, survival of the fittest, people with a darker skin would be favored of the people with lighter skin. You'd see lighter skin, darker skin. Now, certain traits would be lost forever. or certain traits would have to be reintroduced through random mutation. So the races would be different, but you would see races develop because of the environment. And you stretch that across thousands, millions of years, you're going to have completely distinct races.
Something interesting about that. If you actually said a couple of centuries, you're not wrong about that, and I'll tell you the reason why. In places like Brazil and some places in South America, there are what they call little black people, and I'm not talking about people that have any African blood in them at all. There are places in South America and in Asia where there are black people with black traits, and they do not have any African blood whatsoever.
Yep. Well, if you look at people from India, like India, Pakistan area, like if you look, they're basically, if you look at their facial features, they look white. They have like white facial features, but their skin is as black as anyone. So it's just very interesting. People. That's the thing. That's why I don't get hung up on racism. To be like, oh, the white race is the superior race. It's like, well, like there are IQ differences. There are different phenotypical differences between the races. But all you got to do is reintroduce those races, and then you could get different variations of that. You can get the best of both worlds. You don't want to just sit there and, like the Ashkenazi Jews. They have an inbreeding problem because of their culture. And so they have very high IQ. They have like a 115 average IQ, which is the highest in the world. But then they also have a lot of diseases that are very prevalent in the Ashkenazi Jew community because of all their inbreeding.
So I won't tell you how I know this, but I will tell you that it's not a myth, that it really is true.
Oh, because I know you're Jewish. It's okay. Everyone on YouTube is Jewish. Illuminati confirmed. It's all you work for Soros and the Illuminati.
Finish your point, though.
No, I'm done. I don't have a point. You thought I had a point? Man.
Dude, I'll admit, though.
I'm just playing video games.
I'll admit, though, dude, it's a lot easier talking to you now than last year, because it used to be so much more serious.
Yeah. Well, you also caught me. It's like a work day, so I'm actually kind of tired, and I probably shouldn't even be doing this, because usually I don't do videos during the week, but I'm making an exception because I'm just that kind of guy.
I remember, dude. I remember last year when there was all that stuff happening, and everyone was like arguing over who controls this, who controls that. But now that I've actually spent some time away from MGTOW, I'll admit, dude, that one of the most enjoyable times is when I realize that I'm by myself and I have peace to just think, peace to just reflect, and no bitch to bother me. I mean, we all go through those periods of time where we kind of feel like we want a woman, but more or less that's fewer and far in between. And it's interesting because I've changed so much in the last year after going back out there and trying to reintegrate. It doesn't work. That's something I'll tell you guys. Like, you can't, once you've gone MGTOW, you can't go back.
Right.
It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's like trying to go back into the Matrix. Like, I want to go back. I want to go back.
Yeah, because you can't unlearn what you've learned, and it's like you see it everywhere. Like I'll give you an example. Like if you ever watch one of my older streams, I did it with that baby Zelda girl. Because I knew what she was doing. She was trying to probe me, to try to get me. She was like talking all this bullshit like, oh, we have everything in common. Oh, you like this cartoon, you like this video game. And she was just trying to poke me to try to find information about me. And no matter what I said, she agreed with. She was like, oh yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, we have everything in common. Now, back in the day, in my naive blue pill days, I would have eaten that shit up with a spoon, especially if she was attractive. Like, she wasn't my type, which helped. But like, if it was like she was like half Asian and she had like really nice tits, oh man, I would have been putty in her hands. But now that I have the red pill, I see the games, I see the manipulation, I see exactly what they're doing. I can see all the bullshit for what it is. It's like, at the end of the Matrix where Neo can see the code, like he sees the agents that they're made of code. It's like that. Like, and you can't unsee that. Once you see the code, once you see the bullshit, you see it no matter what. Like, you wish you could unsee it, you want to, like, there is, I wouldn't say ignorance is bliss, but like, I'll give you a very personal example. So for me, I do not like meaningless sex. I don't like just, meeting a girl and having no emotion between us and just railing her and never calling her again type of thing. Because I do find that, when you care about someone, you have that bond, sex feels a lot more enjoyable. So I don't want to just have meaningless sex. However, now sex, even I can't get those feelings anyway. So now that bonding that made the sex more enjoyable, it's been lost forever. And it will never be, I can never have it again, which is sad. But now I recognize it for what it was. It was chemicals in my brain just rewarding me for fulfilling my biological function. And that's all it was. And now that I know how the magic trick works, I can't unsee it. And part of me misses it, but then I think about all the near misses I had, all the mistakes I made that could have completely backfired and fucked me over for life. So I'm very appreciative of the knowledge I have, but at the same time, it's a little bit sad to look back about, how it's kind of like when you think about when you were a child, how carefree your life was. The things you thought were big deals weren't, but you had no sense of perspective. So it's just part of growing up. And just like you can't go back and be a kid again, you can't go back and be a blue pill man again.
I love the example that you give. I'll take it one step further. I don't know if you guys remember Men in Black 1, it was Men in Black 2, and it was where Agent K, they deneuralize him, and he suddenly remembers. That aliens actually exist, and he can see them again. He notices them again. And that's the funny thing. That's kind of how it is. Like, once you know that this is an alien, it's like you can no longer not know that aliens are all around you. Or I'll give you another example, Constantine. It's like you can see, like, once you see the demons, once you can see the demons, there's no one seeing them. There's no going back to ignorance and pretending that they're not there. They're there, and you can't change it for all you want.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's getting kind of late, and I do have work tomorrow. So do you want to have some final thoughts?
Yeah, I just posted the link to my channel again, Angry MGTOW. So if you guys want to check it out, you can go ahead and check it out. I mean, final thoughts.
Are you gonna post your old videos?
Dude, I deleted every single video. They're all gone.
That's a shame. We did some we collaborated a bit. We did some collaborative stuff.
I know.
Now it's gone.
I know.
It hurts.
You don't give a shit.
I don't. You got me. I don't give a shit.
But my final thoughts. I'm definitely want to thank Turd for letting me come on and co-host. It was a great whatever this is, and
yeah, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah. And
there's a baby on the screen. You see that?
Baby on the screen.
Yeah, it's like the level. There's like a baby.
Dude, it looks like a. Is that a dead baby, dude? It looks kind of.
I don't know.
Dude, are you playing a game about a dude? Is this a game about abortion?
No, it's like a game. Okay, so it's like a game about this guy. It's like his subconscious, and everything's a metaphor. So it's kind of like, you ever play the game like Persona, like it's like that, but with really really bad graphics. Like if Persona was like a SNES like RPG, then it would be this.
What is this game called?
It's called Haven.
Haven.
Yeah,
okay.
It's on Steam. It's like $5.
Okay. Right.
So if you're into JRPGs, check it out.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, I definitely was able to like share my thoughts, and I'll finish off by I'll say my famous line. Okay. And for those of you who are waiting for it, probably Vaz, I'll simply say that just want you guys to remember that all roads lead to MGTOW or death.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I mean, we all die, even if we go MGTOW, but we might die with our freedom, maybe money, happiness, things like that, but we'll still die. that it? You there?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. I got nothing else.
You were just gonna silently wait for me to break. Okay, I guess that's it. Let's check the chat one more time. See any good stuff. Yes. Okay. So, Demarge1 says fapping is more pleasurable than sex. Yep. You know. Well, I guess. I mean, they're. Now that I got my little. Did you see my little Hobbit? My Hobbit love doll. Did you see that video?
No, I haven't seen your
Man, the Hobbit love doll. You got to get one. You get 10% off if you use the code in the video.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you, dude?
Don't. You know what? Don't act like you're not curious. Don't you want to go there and back again? I rate it a 9 for Mortal Men.
I am
5
not going to
for the Dwarf
answer
Lords,
that.
and 3 for the Tall Elf Kings.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, listen. So great Twitch. I'm gonna go do something not fap.
Oh, you know, okay. You don't need to lie to kick it. It's okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, in closing, MGTOW, do it. Marriage, bad. Porn, good. Yeah. This video game's good. If it's okay. Not my thing, but you know, might check it out. I haven't tried VR porn. I'm waiting for VR headsets to become more affordable. The ones that your phone goes in, they're down to about $20, which I think is good, but I'm not, like, I don't know, like, when the actual VR headsets come online and they're actually, like, affordable, definitely. The problem is I'm nearsighted, so I don't know if they'll even work for me. I might need to get, like, special glasses to even use VR. There you go. Those are my final thoughts. So enjoy your fapping, gentlemen. Keep it moisturized. And I will see you later. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Angry MGTOW. Have a good night. Take care, gentlemen.